a humble man, apologetic. I know that I've done a couple videos here that scared some of you. They were too serious. Some of you felt that I was forsaking humor. I can't, because I'm basically a clown. And I think humor is one way we cope with things. I thought I would start the show, the program, the blog, on a positive, uplifting note today. And that involves young Lucas, AOE guy. I was one of Lucas's first subscribers. It's going to be one of those I knew them when stories. And Lucas was just kind of probing, experimenting with videos. And his subscriber list really wasn't growing, but Lucas kept working at it. And last week, Lucas had a video that was featured. It was about lucid dreams. I have an idea what lucid dreams are. However, I've really not looked into it a lot. I thought it was some kind of weird psychosis with me, some kind of a psychological problem that I would have to keep repressed, screwing up my life. But anyway, he did a video on it, and it was featured, and Lucas catapults to 600 and some subscribers. The next day I look, he's catapulted to over 900 subscribers. Lord knows where he's at today. Congratulations, Lucas. And Lucas should serve as an example to any of us out here that are plugging away, making videos, that one of these days a light is going to shine on what you're doing. And many people will see it, and many people will subscribe. I'm happy that that happened to Lucas. I promised that we would talk a little bit about talk radio. Not the serious side of it, just the strange things that happen. Even the strange things that happen, they can be very profound. It was in Seattle. That's where I made the most money in my career. Was in Seattle. Big market. And good ratings. I'm pretty thankful for that. And it was a time when my ego grew kind of out of control. I probably will do another video on Dimmitt gone wild, ego out of control. About the same time I do that one on model trains can kill. But this particular day we had heavy political things being discussed. I looked at the phones and I wanted to change the direction. That's why you have a call screener, and that is why there's a computer screen in front of you. It tells you about the call and where it's from, the person's name, and then there's a designation that the producer gives it. Y with an exclamation point. That means it's a very young caller who speaks well. Perfect demo for all of the sponsors. They are the priority calls. And then there's M.O. That means middle age, but the thinking's old. We've heard the topic before. There are a number of designations. And then there was the R designation. The R designation behind the caller's name stood for raisin. Raisin meant old. Boring caller. I'm trying to change the direction of the program. It's one of those days where I have a brilliant idea, but the entire audience thinks that brilliant idea just sucks. So I decide I'm going to go take the R call, which normally they could wait on that line until, I'm ashamed to say, until they died. One did, in fact, on another one of the hosts. The lady said, "Laura, one more thing." Dropped dead right there. That's what happens when you talk to those R calls. Anyway, I decided I'm going to the R call. I pushed the button. "Martha, and how are you?" I'm being my nice self, using my nice guy voice. And she said, Jerry, is that really you?" "Yes, it's me. It's me. What do you want to talk about?" "Jerry, today Today, yes, get on with it. What is it? Today I went to the store and I bought dish soap and a newspaper. I am angered. I hit the off button. Now I have the entire thing to myself to rip this lady to shreds. And I said, listen, you have your nerve. Thousands of people are listening to this radio program. And you have the nerve, you have the audacity to call here and talk about buying a newspaper and dish soap. Don't ever darken my phone again, you old battle axe. I am so stressed I'm taking a break. Okay, we take a break. And it's a long break. Commercial upon commercial. Network news. The producer comes in. He said, I just had a phone call, Jer, with the son of the old lady you just slammed the phone down on. I said, so? He said, let me tell you. Here's an old lady who has not left the house in 10 years. She was agoraphobic. She starts listening to your program. And she starts talking to her son, talking politics. And she said to her son this morning, you know, Jerry's such a happy, positive person. I think the world is not all that bad. I'm going to the store. So she gets in her walker. She walks down to the car, or rolls, whatever they do in a walker. And she drives for the first time in years all the way to Safeway. She goes in. She rolls through the store. She picks up dish soap. She picks up a newspaper. And she heads home. She says to her son, I'm going to call Jerry. She hasn't made a phone call in years. And she calls me on the radio. And I slam the phone in her ear and call her a battle axe. Shame, shame. Sometimes you better keep the gun in the holster until you know there's a target there in front of you. Sometimes maybe better play it a little closer to the vest. Not all the things in my life am I proud of. Now, if you will excuse me.
Reap, reap, gonna reap the fruit of the seed that you've been sowing. What you gonna say to the Lord that day when he asks what you've been growing? Will you say hope is a-growing, that's what I planted. Hope is a-growing, that's what I planted. Started spreading all around, watched it fill this little town. Yes, hope is a-growing here. Reap, reap, gonna reap the fruit of the seed that you've been sowing.